So we know a bit about variables and user input now. So this is going to be your first proper little program. The reason being that it actually does something vaguely useful. Very simple, but it is actually useful. So you can see what's happening here. I've asked the user for their name, again, same as the last one, and the input function will take the user input and then store whatever they type in the variable location called name. We then print out, yeah, well, how do you do? We then have another variable called number1, and you can see this int that I've put before the input. I wonder if you can guess what that's doing. You can see where I made an error when I was just running through this before, because what I hadn't done when I ran it here and here is declare the data type that was going to be entered in. And if you don't change it by default, it will just go back to a string. So I've had to say, well, actually I want my input to be stored as an integer, so a number in other words. So that way when I take in number1 and take in number2, the computer knows their numbers, and that way I can perform a mathematical operation on them. In other words, I can multiply them and then store the answer in the variable location called answer. And then the two numbers multiplied together are answer. So let's just check that all works. So we run the module. What's your name? Fred. Oh, hold on, that was still running from the last. Let's come out of that a second. I still had it running from last time. File. Open. And I've got it stored in. Two numbers multiplied. So let's try that again then. So if we run that module, right, what's your name? Fred. Well, how do you do, Fred? What's your first number? 4. What's your second number? 5. Your two numbers multiplied together are 20. There you go. There's your first little program, and based upon this one, what I think you could try and do now is just set up another little program which could be used to calculate the cost of, let's say, a gas bill. So if I say to you that what the program does is allow the user to type in the number of units used, gas units, and then it sets a cost price per unit, and you can either set that in the program or allow the user to enter that in themselves, and it will then calculate the price or calculate the total that you need to pay for your gas bill. So that's the cost per unit, and then allow the user to type in the number of units used and then calculate the total cost. Have a go at that, see what you come up with.